What's going on, YouTube? How's everyone doing? I hope everyone's doing great as usual. Thank you guys so much again for all of your support. You guys are amazing. And thank you for all of the cool conversations and the comments that you guys have been making. Again, whether they're negative to me or whether they're positive to me, I still honestly appreciate it because I like seeing everyone's different perspective and it does help me kind of improve things, whether it's within settings, whether it's within my videos and things like that, whether it's within the camera that I'm using to try to make it look better for you guys. So I do appreciate all the feedback as well, whether it's good or bad. So I just wanted to take the time and honestly thank you guys for that. I love all the feedback again, whether it's good or bad. I also want to thank all the new subscribers. I had a pretty good surge of new subscribers coming in, so I wanted to thank you guys all for that as well. Um, if this is your first time watching one of my videos, I just like to really state kind of up forward, be upfront with everyone. I'm not a professional. I'm literally just a consumer who is very enthusiastic about uh, home entertainment. I love premium TVs. Ever since I purchased my first OLED back in 2017, I've kind of never really looked back. Yes, I have purchased other TVs, some other mini LEDs and things like that, but there will always be uh, some of the best TVs in the world in my home because that's what I appreciate when I come home from a long day of work and I want to spend a weekend watching a sick movie and I want to set up the TV the way I want it to look. That's what my channel is basically all about. I've owned everything from 2017 OLEDs like the E7, the CXs. I own a couple of those. Man, I've owned the G2, the G3, the G4, now the G5. Let's see. I've owned the S95B, the S95C, the S90D. I skipped QD OLED this year only because there's no 83 inch. And I just kind of recently, I mean, I've had 83 inches and 85 inches before. I also have a 100-inch mini LED, which I'm going to do a video about soon. Um, but I've kind of just this past year kind of progressed really up to something about 83 inches or higher for my living space and what I want things to really look like at my home. And this is one example of it. This is the 83-inch LG G5. And I'm just talking about my personal experience with this TV. As you guys can see, I have Avatar Way of the Water on. The reason why I like using this video, and by the way, it is playing through a PS5 Pro hard physical disc. And that would be the setup that I have right now up in this with this TV. So the best thing that I can really explain is that I do see because I think it's mainly because I'm playing a DVD movie through the PS5 Pro. I don't see as much clarity, but the clarity is still phenomenal for what it is. So basically, what I'm saying is I do have somewhat of a higher end Panasonic 4K HDR UHD uh, DVD player that is a little bit more on the higher end. It's not the best of the best. I forgot the model name, but if I take this DVD and play it in through that DVD player, I definitely see a difference as far as like picture quality goes. I think the processing is a little bit better and it translates and passes through the LG G5 and the G5 displays the image better when it's connected to that DVD player compared to the PS5 Pro. But I mean, are you honestly going to complain about this image here? This is the number one reason why I started the video at this particular image because a lot of people are saying that the LG G5, although it is amazing, there are some issues and things like that, and which is true. But for the most part, if you're sitting at a certain distance, you have the 83-inch LG G5. I don't really notice any of the issues that are very well on the top of the list to be known for the LG G5. And I think one of those issues would be the gradation or color banding. I don't see that when as you can clearly see, even through the images here, guys. Um, the fire, I don't see much or anything at all, to be honest with you, of any color gradation. You see this highlight here through the fire. I don't see any color gradation there. Yeah, I can sometimes see when you get up close to the TV. I'm talking like you're standing inches in front of it, which obviously nobody watches it like that. Of course, you're going to find things that aren't perfect, but again, these TV manufacturers are making these TVs as best as possible for the best experience, and they know you're not going to be watching it with your eyes right in front of the screen, and you don't notice any of those issues when you're sitting back. It pretty much looks damn near perfect. And I can tell you guys, I also had the A95K and two A95L 77 inches. And when I compare the LG G5 to my past experience with these TVs, I think it's really the LG G5 at the moment right now and the Samsung S90D that are like kind of like my two top favorite TVs, even more than the A95L, the A95K, the S95C, any of those TVs in the past. Uh, I even liked the S90D more than the G4. In many ways, it was just a nice change to have that much color. And even the S90D being more of a second tier TV. Uh, I mean, honestly, guys, like that TV uh, was still topping out, the A95L, in my personal opinion. It had more clarity. It had more vibrant color. So, especially if you're a gamer like me, it looked ridiculously amazing. Um, yeah, it lacked the brightness. So, that's kind of like one thing I did wish I had with the S90D. But at the end of the day, when the TV's on and you're not really comparing it to another TV, like I was comparing it to the LG G4 a lot in my past videos, um, I didn't really feel like I was losing much. I felt like it was still more even because I still liked the way the S90D looked better color wise. I just, but the LG G4 still had its you know advantages over the S90D, like brightness. Uh, sometimes, or actually a lot of times, especially more natural scenes, you can see how the LG G4 looked more um, crisp, more clean, more details. You can see fine details. They kind of popped out more and things like that. Um, and there were a lot of issues with people saying the black levels look raised. I did not personally see that. I mean, maybe in certain video games that I was playing where really the black level floor in HDR wasn't that great anyways. So it kind of screwed everything up and kind of knocked everything out of balance. And, there's always going to be some kind of tone mapping going on in the background, no matter, even if you put it on HGIG. I think there's still some level behind the scenes tone mapping that's going on. I think with pretty much any TV, not just the LG, no matter how much you try to disengage any type of tone mapping from the TV settings. So I think that could have something a little bit to do with it. I'm not the expert, I don't know, but that's kind of what it really kind of like felt like, um, in my personal opinion. Um, and That's pretty much it. So like moving forward to the LG G5, and I'm gonna change the scene here, and I'm gonna show you guys some other scenes that I would like to really bring out as an example. Um, Sorry, I just wanted to brighten that back up so you guys can check it out. Um, Moving forward to the LG G5, what I truly appreciate about it the most is how it seems like and again, I don't know how LG is able to pull it off. So I'm going to assume it's obviously has a pretty good portion to do with the new panel technology. It's four stack tandem OLED technology, but it's really cool to see how it's able to maintain its brightness while you're playing video games and watching movies for a much longer time than any of the past TVs. In the past TVs, even the LG G4, the brightness was better, don't get me wrong, but it still seemed like, yeah, that auto dimming would kind of kick in sooner than you would wish. Especially when you're watching a movie like this that you really, really want to watch as bright as possible throughout the whole entire movie because the movie just pops. And that's the whole point of these movies. Um, and I think, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, and somebody please correct me if I'm wrong, but I personally thought that in the movie theater, when the creator's intent is designed for the movie theater, I think just naturally it's kind of created at a much lower nit than it is when they create it for a DVD. I think sometimes even they say that the DVDs get graded at like even up to like 1,000 nits as opposed to way, when it's compared to a movie, it's somewhere in like 150. So it can be graded at a higher, so you get this experience that you're watching now because they know at home TVs can get brighter than screens and it'll look better and the technology is better and they want to give you that experience. So I think that you should get a TV that matches that if you're really into the best home entertainment experience. And that's why I get the higher premium TVs because they have those capabilities that you just can't get even in like the mid tiers. And they're close, don't get me wrong, but they're cheaper for a reason because they don't have as much capability as the premium TVs, the headroom, and the things like that. I think when you buy one of these TVs, the best thing to do, take them out the box. If you're a gamer, go through all the gaming settings and picture presets and play with them for like a day or two. Just get used to them, and then it'll literally give you an idea of what you want your overall picture to look like, when you're playing a video game. And then the same for movies. You want to do the same thing. You want to go through all the picture presets, just play with them, just figure out what you personally like. If you like a more bluer screen in the background, go for it. If you like more of the natural, more warmer tone, I think most people are going to go for the warmer tone, especially at this level. Um, you know, Obviously go for it. It's your TV. You spent the money, so you shouldn't really tell anyone, if their settings are correct or incorrect or anything. As long as you know what you're doing and you know what you want your picture to look like because you have this perception in your mind of what you want it to look like, the LG G5 can definitely pretty much do anything you want it to do. Yeah, they are sometimes time consuming, and yes, it can get annoying going through all the settings and changing them up because for some reason, you thought it looked good one way, but now you like it really a different way or things like that. And that's what these TVs are doing. But once you really fine tune any of those TVs, the Samsung, the LG, the Sony, any of the premium TVs, mid-tier TVs, it doesn't matter. You're gonna really get a very good experience. I mean, for crying out loud, sometimes people just literally put on a preset and keep it there forever, just like they set it and forget it. So, in my opinion, if you're going to do that, I wouldn't go up to this level of a TV. I'll go probably somewhere in the mid tier, maybe even lower. Save yourself some money because you're not really gonna do anything with the settings anyways. Um, you know, so why spend the money on a TV where you can change so many settings and, you know, customize your settings so much to when you're not even going to do it. You might as well just get a lower end TV. That's the way I look at it personally, but everyone's different. So now I'm just going to show you guys a couple of things here. Um, and I want to show you like things like this right here, right? In the past with any of the TVs that I had, even the premium TVs, scenes like this where there's a lot of different colors going on. You have the flames in the background on the right. You have some colors of the greenish colors, um, you know, with them, and then you have natural, you know, skin tone colors, and then you have blue colors in the back, and then even the clouds and the trees are all different colors. Scenes like this um, were were always very nice, obviously, and as time comes along, things progress. What I'm noticing now with this tier of TV, and I'm gonna have to assume any 2025 TV, since they're always on the cutting edge in the premium space, really trying to get that little extra pop that you can possibly get. Um, that's what I notice is happening pretty much the past like 3 years strong. I mean, really like a strong push for those types of impacts with HDR 4K specifically. I'm not much of an SDR person, by the way. So even out the box, that's kind of like almost every preset's intent is to really show kind of what the headroom of the what how the TV and what it was given for you. It's almost like they kind of throw you in a clue like, yeah, we're not going to make our presets perfect. We're not going to do all that for you, but we are going to set some presets up for you so you can see the TV strengths. And then once you get to know your TV, you set it up your way. You can customize it your way and use your settings. And that's what I like about these TVs. They're very sophisticated in that manner. They they kind of translate, and like once you have these TVs for a while and you've kind of like, you know, you know, progressively learn them and kind of learn what you like along the same time as learning the TVs, um, its strengths, its weaknesses, things that annoy you, things that you love. You kind of start to really get a good overall idea um, of what you personally like and what you're looking for at your house. And everyone's different. Um, so, with this new tandem four stack technology, I just gotta say that the headroom that it's given, being able to stay bright at the same time for a longer distance, getting more color out of the panel, all at the same time of it being an LG, so you know the processing is going to be great. Yeah, it's not a perfect TV, but neither was the A95L, neither was the A95K, neither was the S95 um, D or C or S or any of them, S95F. Like none of them are perfect. They're all going to have their flaws. People will complain that the LG G5 has like a green tint issue because it's a WOLED. People are going to complain that the QD OLEDs have a pink tint, and as an owner of those two TVs, they both have those issues. But at the same time, when they're at your house and you're just using the TV, that's literally you're not even thinking about that. You don't even care about that. Um, it's very little times where you notice those that pink or green tint is even in the way. The only time I pretty much notice it is when I'm looking at like an all white screen, or for example, when I'm playing God of War and Ragnarok, he's kind of like painted in like this white ash, right? But no matter how pure you make that white through the G5, no matter how much you try to take and filter out that green tint and make and even go to your white stabilizers, things like that through Game Optimizer preset, they're still, and you go into the white balance and fix the white balance, you try to get that green away. It's just something that's always going to be there no matter what. And I noticed that when it's really against like lighter colors, I noticed that. Same exact thing with the QD OLED. When it's against, like, let's say the clouds in the sky, a little bit something lighter, or let's say like a rosy background with a pink sky or something like that, sometimes it looks overly pink over, and there's nothing you can do about that no matter what. I would say that most people, since they're drawn to warmer colors, would say that it's not that much of an issue on a QD OLED because that's kind of our natural direction. Our eyes are attracted to more color and that natural warm look. But honestly, guys, no matter what, when you notice those things, it's extremely rare. Like, you don't, it's something you just don't complain about, you don't care about. So my advice is honestly, don't listen to any of that, because no matter whether you get the LG G5 or whether you get the a QD OLED, it's still gonna have that no matter what, no matter how perfect you calibrate the TV. Um, and then if you're a person who doesn't really want to calibrate a TV to reference, and you want to kind of set up your own settings, and you want to set up your own colors and your own this and your that, black levels and stuff like that, that's another thing that you got to really learn how to kind of like level out as best as you can. Um, my advice is get a colorimeter, get an idea. Um, just trying to learn how like the white balance gets, you know, basically calibrated, and then see how it looks from there. And if you like it, then keep it that way. If you don't like it, change it up. You can also change your black levels. You can change the type of tone mapping you want. You can turn color booster on, off, whatever you want for a QD OLED. You can do whatever you want. It's really up to you. It's your TV, and you can make your TV look sick. So I want to just show you guys another thing uh, that I noticed in. So hold on, I'm gonna try to forward this as much as I can without going over, and I'll show you guys something. All right, so yeah, we're getting there. Okay, let's back up a little bit. Let's hit play. And all right, so like this scene right here, you see how it's mostly like a, almost like a sunset kind of scene. It's kind of intended to look like that through the creator. So here's what I've noticed with the G5. Like, I've never truly had uh, a TV that looked as crystal clear as this TV, other than the S90D. The reason to me why the S90D had this, that pure, that more perfect like kind of clarity to this scene, was because it's, that panel technology had the advantage because it was already kind of like a rosy tint, so it actually would exaggerate this even more. But what I like about the LG is that you can still have that beautiful kind of rosy sunset look. And if you guys look at the how it breaks the color up almost in every single section of the water, that is beautiful right there. And I never really noticed a W OLED being able to do that. I've only noticed a QD OLED being able to do that. The S90D was the one that stuck out to me personally the most in these types of scenes. And I pay attention. I mean, I've been using this movie as my sample like review kind of comparison, even like out of camera, um, because I know that if I use the same film that I've been using for years, I'll catch on and get used to and understand like what the scene looked like here, there, with each TV. And that's the only other TV, the S90D, where it looked just as good as this right here. And it's crazy because that's a 2024 mid-tier TV. So that's why, like, I love TVs like the S90D, the S90F. The only reason why I did not purchase a QD OLED this year was because I'm in the 83-inch and higher space, and there's really no QD OLED that is 83 inches or above. You have a WOLED that you can get to 97 inches, but obviously that's a price point that I'm definitely not willing to pay for, and it's not worth it. But now that the G5 can do this kind of almost pretty much almost like a QD OLED look, but in a WOLED, to me, in my personal opinion, because I'm kind of a follower of this, is really impressive. It's like it kind of blows me away. So I really like that about the LG G5. To me, I do think, yeah, I know it's a WOLED. Uh, I know that LG has definitely listened finally. You know how these all these TV brands are stubborn about listening to the consumer, but they've gotten the color much better. They gotten the color separation much better. They gotten the details much clearer. They got that rosy look much better as long as you set your TVs up. And I'll show you guys. By the way, I'm not in game. I turned Game Optimizer off. Um, so it's not running, the picture's not running through Game Optimizer. And I will show you the different presets compared to my personal preset. I'm not going to go through the settings, guys. I'm not a settings person. That kind of aggravates me a little bit because I make my TV settings the way I like them. And anytime I always give settings away, no matter what, um, people will always say something. And and in my personal opinion, that's not what my channel's about. My channel is just kind of giving you my experience with the TV and hoping that it helps. If it doesn't help, I'm sorry. Uh, I hope that you somewhat enjoyed the conversation, anyways. But here's another example that I do want to show you again with the LG G5 that I noticed. All right. And then I'll show you like what my settings are and let you guys go. Or like what the presets are compared to my preset. So I'm gonna keep going, and then we're gonna back up, and we're gonna stop here, and then we're gonna move a little bit slower. All right, so keep going. Yep, here we are. All right, now I will show you guys something. Let's skip to these frames. All right. Let's back this up a little bit. All right, now let's hit play. And I just want to show you guys this scene right here. And this is just something that I noticed. All right. So scenes like this, guys, right here. So the only other TV I see competing with this right here is easily a QD OLED, like the S95F. All right. Like this scene right here, watching it from home on an LG is mind blowing. And I feel like the only other time I've ever seen a picture that looks this good is with a QD OLED. So, like, my point is that LG's goal is to still be LG and still have that really good processing, motion, um, you know, upper tier, every processing kind of category that you can possibly think of. They're up there in the top with them because of this right here. Again, look at the highlights and the details within the highlights here. Look at like the eyes, how they're so yellow. And again, I'll show you my presets versus other presets. Other presets might look fine to you too, and it's perfectly okay. If it looks bad to me and looks good to you, then it looks good to you. And that's where it's worth for your money. I don't care what's right, what's wrong. I'm not here to talk about that. But I just never seen the LG be able to pull this off at the QD OLED level and be bright. Like, so obviously the S95F would be the only other TV to me, in my opinion, that can top this right here. And you know, maybe the Sony Bravia 8.2 can, but I mean, my understanding is the TV is even dimmer than the S90D. So at that point, that's just ridiculous. I mean, that doesn't even make any sense to me. If that's really the truth, I don't know. But I've seen so many other comparisons where um, so many different, channels said that the S90F looked better than the Sony Bravia Mark 8 II or whatever. So I don't know. I just don't know. I didn't see any of those TVs. I saw the S90F in person, and it looks good. It looks really good. I just thought that, you know, since they don't make an 83 inch, I'm not gonna purchase it. So, and it looked really flashy. The S95F looked better than I thought it would when I saw it in person. I went to Best Buy and saw that TV, and it looked really good. I think because it was in a bright space, and I'm used to watching in dark space, like, or light controlled space, like this. I was like kind of, I didn't have that like pop, like wow factor to me. Um, I get more of the wow factor when I'm watching a big screen, bright and beautiful like this in the dark, than I do if it's like, all the lights on and it's light out. So, but anyways, let me just show you guys my settings here, or not my settings. I keep saying that, but presets. So right now I'm in cinema and obviously user settings. Some of them say user settings, and for some reason, but like this one, this is cinema home, so it's more dim. So I think what I was trying to do was make it brighter and set it up, but I was like, that's like too much work when you can just go this way. You know what I mean? And then just fix it from there because it's already bright. You don't have to, I feel like it's just extra work if you. So I think I did start using this, and I noticed no matter what, I don't know. I just didn't like the how dim it was, so I just skipped it because I hate dim TVs. Um, and I think auto power save. I think I liked how bright it was, but then I noticed the fluctuation and like I don't know the timing and the dimming and getting brighter just wasn't my thing, so I kind of like skipped that. So there might be like a setting or two in there, but I don't think I did anything with color or anything like that. I think I kept all the black levels the same. All I think I did was probably messed around with tone mapping and I don't know, maybe something else. I don't really know. But standard user settings. This one I tried my best to make as good as I can, but I think it was a little on the dimmer side, and I probably just quit and whatever. So I should probably reset that one. And then Vivid, this is Vivid right here, and Vivid's really nice. The only thing with Vivid is like for some reason, for me, like I like the fact that it gives you more headroom because it's like super bright. But then once you start figuring out um, like how you really set up your TV, you're going to notice that you're going to have to bring the brightness down a lot for that, and then you're going to have to change the black levels a lot for that because the black levels are really raised. In Vivid, everything's just raised and over brightened, and then colors are harder to fix. So like it gives you that initial pop in Vivid, but like I don't know, it's just you know. So for me, this is what I have right here. I like where the blacks are a little bit deeper, but you can still see. color separation for the most part, even in darker areas like where the eyes are. I pay attention to just little things like that a lot. Um, but I still want the surrounding areas to kind of still be more on the inky black side. I don't like those areas to be raised. Um, and then, any other darker areas, even like where it looks completely dark in real life, there is some shadow detail in there. So like, you know, I can raise the ISO to see if you guys see it, but there's still more in there. I don't want to do that. But yeah, um, so that's what that is. And that's really it, guys. I don't really like to go too deep into the settings because I hate when I'm not into the whole settings battle. That's not me. Just trying to share my experience. That's it. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about when it comes to the LG G5. I gotta say, during streaming, um, 4K is good enough. It honestly, I already know what my TV can do because I see it with physical disc and how good it looks, and I know it's a combination of both. But at the same time, like streaming, a lot of it is kind of lower bit content. I mean, and even the 4K content is still not the best. Doesn't have the best HDR impact and blah blah blah. And it, you know, background details are always still not the best because it's just you're streaming, so you're not gonna get that. You're gonna get more of a compressed image, but that's just the way it is. And even if you have a premium TV like the LG G5, it's still going to look like that because that's just what the TV is receiving from, the source of the signal that it's getting it from. That's basically what it is. So, um, but you already know the LG is more than capable of that. So that's why I purchased the TV because when I hook it up to a game, my PS5 Pro, or if I hook it up to a DVD player, the image that I'm actually really going to get because it's of, you know, the type of game I'm playing or whatever in physical disc is just amazing. So, and video games are just amazing on this too. So, I love it. And both for gaming, both for watching movies, is right now for me the best TV I've personally ever owned. But again, if I had an 83-inch S95F in my house, I'd probably be saying that's my favorite TV over this one because I would be shocked to see a big TV like that in a QD OLED and be able to get beautifully bright with better color, um, even a little bit of a notch better color. The only thing obviously is, yeah, there's still other issues with the Samsung S95F that a lot of people don't like and does have some big strikes against it, and I totally understand that. But that'd be the perfect TV, a S95F 83-inch with a glossy screen. I think that'll be like, anyone's kind of dream TV pretty much in the 83-inch or higher space. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for everything, and I'll see you on the next one.